Hi, you guys. Thanks so much and welcome back. It's always lovely to connect with you. This is the Lift channel. We've got it all: mental health, movement, motivation, the best relationship advice, life advice, tips, suggestions. So if you love what I'm doing, please do be sure to click the subscribe button, and more good stuff is coming at you. I want to dive right into today's content. Just very direct, straight between the eye. I want to give you five signs to look for that's really going to let you know you are going to be disappointed, hurt, let down, check all the boxes above. And it's pretty straightforward, guys. What I like to do is give you the roadmap to navigate the lumps and bumps of life that can stop or tremendously slow down your momentum. And one thing that could do it like nothing else is just trying to get over a hurt or disappointment inflicted on someone. So, what better way to deal with this than to just stop it, give it the old kibosh before it even happens? So, the first thing I want you to look for is this, you guys: if someone is not responding, they're not responding to your text messages, to your calls, to your invites. And I know what I'm saying at face value. It's like, well, Sheila, this is common sense. Of course, I'm not going to keep going if someone is not responding, but we do it all the time. And I'll tell you why we do it: because instead of taking things for face value, what we do is sit back and make excuses when this occurs. We sit back because it's uncomfortable. And instead of saying, wow, they never responded to that text or those few texts, we go into, well, they're busy, or anything could happen. All those things may be true, but the reality is, if you just refuse to let yourself immediately go into making justifications and giving the benefit of the doubt, you could easily say, wow, in the time that it took me to walk to my front door and check my mail, that's the time it could have taken for someone to respond. Wow, in the time it took for me to just unload my groceries, someone could have responded 15 times over to my email or to my text message. Then you would be able to stop and just kind of plug in this equation. This is someone who likely I need to kind of slow down here because they're not responsive. People make time for who and what they want to make time for. Take it to the bank. I've worked with so many people. I had a gentleman, high powered exec, super busy, probably one of the busiest people on the planet. And he found a woman that he was very interested in. I promise you, to get to her every other week, he had to take two airplanes, a boat, and God knows what else when he got to this part of the world. But he made time to see her twice a month from halfway across the country. So, you guys, listen, people make time for who and what they want to make time for. There may be a lag. I understand people are busy, but if they're just totally not responsive, you have to pay attention to that. And you know what? If they're so busy, if they're just too busy to make time for you or to respond, especially depending on what the situation or relationship is, busy is fine. It probably means they're just too busy for you, period. So the first thing to look for is they're not responsive. Second thing I want you to pay attention to, and I did a video about this on just paying attention to extremes. Listen to me very carefully. I found this to be true not only in my career dealing with clientele, but I found this to be true in my personal relationships as well. When that energy, there's a certain energy that comes in your direction. It is fast, it is furious, it is just right now, it's palpable. You guys, 9 times out of 10, either that business exchange or that relationship, whatever it is, it's going to fizzle out just as quickly because there's an erratic pace behind it. There's an erratic pace behind it. Case in point, I can remember many years ago meeting this gentleman. He just came out of the blue. He met me at an event. I was single at the time. He was just pouring it on so thick. I definitely, I got to take you out to dinner. I met you. Something really cut through me. It's just incredible. I just haven't felt this way. And just fast, furious, just coming at me full board. And by then, I was really at the beginning point of starting to understand my theory of extremes, which I went over in that YouTube video. And when that energy is coming at me, it's not my cue to go with it and to get frantic myself. It's my cue to really slow down, because it's been my experience over the years that as quickly as that just erratic energy comes at you, it's going to fizzle out just as fast. And true to form, this guy was like all just frantic for like a week or two, and then boom, wait, hold on. Where did you go? Because that energy, it burns itself up. It's just too much. So another sign that you're going to be disappointed, ghosted, whatever the case may be, is when there's just that erratic energy behind it. And third is when someone is just making excuses and not taking responsibility. It's really a pet peeve of mine, because my feeling is a marker of maturity, a marker of a good pace, a marker of someone who is emotionally, psychologically, spiritually grounded, is it's not painful for them to take responsibility when they've done something wrong, when they've made a mistake. They don't immediately go into making excuses. So I'll give you an example. Again, this was some years ago. What I thought was a friend, um, basically just blew off in a really crappy way. An important event, just kind of laissez faire, whatever I want to do, get there, whatever time I want to get there. And I confronted her on it. I'm like, look, this was very important. This was planned for a few months, and you stroll in here when they're doing cleanup and putting the chairs up. And instead of just taking full ownership, you're right. It was reckless. It was irresponsible. It was rude. Just completely turned the whole situation around. Somehow that moment in time came to be my fault. And it was a bunch of crap. It was a bunch of garbage, but there were enough signs there before that I knew in my heart this person just was not someone I'm going to be going into my future with. And again, that whole piece of just not being able to look at oneself and realize we're all going to make mistakes. Take responsibility. It's so dangerous, because if it's always someone else's fault, how do you learn? How do you grow? So I really want you to pay attention to that. Someone who just cannot say sorry, can't take responsibility, can't look at him or herself, you are going to be hurt down the line. It's just that simple. And number four, I'd really like you to pay attention to if you're constantly in doubt where someone is concerned. We talk about the benefit of the doubt. You shouldn't be issuing the benefit of the doubt all the time. That action in and of itself is a huge red flag. I always use the words with you all: ease, joy, and glory. Ease, joy, and glory. If the relationship is healthy, if the exchange is healthy, if it's above board, you're not constantly in doubt. That's a huge flag in and of itself. And I would really encourage you to pay attention when that is happening. That doubt is signaling something is wrong here. And that's another thing that we do far too much of. When you get that feeling, something's not right, this doesn't feel good, that's when it's time to stop. When you chronically ignore that base feeling and emotion, to me it comes from God as a tap on the shoulder. You're setting yourself up. You're going to be hurt. That's just kind of the gentle tap and nudge before the fall. So pay attention to that. And then lastly, I think this is it's kind of cut and dry. It's just right there for your consumption. People who no call, no show. No call, no show in your life. no calling back, pulling the rug from under you, just not showing up for you emotionally when they say they're going to show up or when they should show up, not showing up for you in physical format, no call, no show, no text. Basically, they're just not present in a robust way when there's just a natural expectation because of how they've been positioned that they should. So you really have to look at that. No calls, no show, no text. It's just it's a simple lack of regard. It really is. And if you think I'm kidding, just think about it. Think about that first example I gave. Someone taking two planes and they really wanted to get there. It's because they had that person positioned mentally, spiritually, and emotionally in a certain place. When you have someone positioned like on the far peripheral of your mind, they're just simply not a priority. They're just not. And so you will naturally give yourself permission. Well, I'll show up when I feel like showing up, or I'll call you when I feel like getting back to you. And that's perfectly fine if that's kind of a mutual positioning. But I've written this in so many articles and books. I'll said it once and I'll say it again. You never want to make someone a priority where you're positioned as an option because you're going to be let down again and again. And so sometimes it can be difficult to know, or you'll kind of get a little wake up call that, oh, this person really has me positioned as an option. So, what I do, I don't make a production of it. I simply rearrange them in a very effervescent way to kind of the peripheral of my energy field. So, if I'm not a priority and I've given this energy, what have you, and it's not reciprocal, you're going to have to get rearranged mentally and energetically because I'm not going through those kind of imbalances in my life right now. And again, we're tempted to just make excuses for folks. But you guys, if you want a healthy, robust, just above board life, it's not about being mean, it's not about retaliation, it's just about respecting the basic principles that govern our relationships. That's really what my work is, to bring that information forward to you. It's about harmony, balance, and cultivating lives of ease, joy, and glory. So these are 5 things to think about. I hope they made a difference for you. Again, if you love what I'm putting out, please do subscribe, share the news of the channel with your friends, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Thanks so much.